All right, so you're getting ready for a business developer interview. That's fantastic. It's a field with a lot of potential. And we're diving into some RoleCatcher resources today to help you totally crush it. We've got their career and interview guides, sample questions, all that good stuff.
It is a competitive landscape out there, so being prepared is absolutely key. That's really where RoleCatcher shines. They give you that extra edge with the insights and tools that can make all the difference.
Exactly. This deep dive is going to walk you through what those interviewers are really looking for, how to tackle those common and sometimes tricky interview questions, and some really smart strategies to help you stand out. Plus, we'll sprinkle in some insights about the career path itself, based on what RoleCatcher has put together. Ready to dive in?
Absolutely.
Let's get started.
Okay, first things first. Let's make sure we're all on the same page about what business developers actually do. It's more than just sales, right? Way more. It's strategic. Think of it as driving a company's growth. RoleCatcher's career guide highlights things like analyzing markets, spotting those opportunities, crafting killer marketing campaigns, and supporting that entire sales cycle. It's a very dynamic role.
You're not just closing deals, you're shaping the strategy behind them.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And RoleCatcher mentioned that you're working with multiple teams, interacting with clients and partners. You're right in the thick of things.
Exactly. And that's a good segue into interview prep, because one of the first questions you're likely to get is, what motivated you to pursue a career in business development? They want to know what drives you, what excites you about this field.
Okay, so it's not just about repeating your resume. They want to see that spark, that passion for business. What did you say makes a good answer here?
Think about what specifically drew you to this role. Is it the strategic thinking involved, the fast-paced environment? Maybe it's the opportunity to build those relationships and see those deals come to life. Whatever it is, let that genuine enthusiasm shine through. And here's a pro tip from the RoleCatcher Interview Guide. Connect your answer to the company's goals. Do some research and show them you understand their mission and how your skills can contribute to their success.
Ooh, good point. So don't just talk about yourself. Connect the dots for them. Now, what about a potential follow-up question? Let's say they ask, what aspects of business development are you most excited about?
Perfect example. This is where you get even more specific. Maybe you thrive on the challenge of identifying and pursuing new business opportunities. Or perhaps you're fascinated by market analysis and spotting trends. This is your chance to show off your knowledge and enthusiasm for particular aspects of the role.
I like it. It's about showing them that you're not just here for any job. You're here for this job. Okay, let's move on to another common question RoleCatcher highlights. How do you stay up to date with industry trends and market changes? I feel like everyone says they read a lot. How do you make your answer stand out?
You're right. I read a lot is way too vague. You need to show them how you stay informed. Name specific publications, influencers, or even events you follow. Maybe you subscribe to industry newsletters or listen to podcasts like this one. The key is to demonstrate that you are actively seeking out information and staying ahead of the curve.
So show them you're proactive, not just passively scrolling through headlines. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answer to this specific company, right?
Exactly. Their AI analyzes job descriptions and identifies the key skills and keywords employers are looking for. Then, it suggests relevant resources and information you can use to beef up your answer. So you're not just showcasing your knowledge, you're showcasing the right knowledge for that specific role.
Okay, that's super helpful. It's like having a personalized research assistant. Now back to the interview question. What if they follow up with, share a recent industry trend that particularly caught your attention and why?
That's a great follow-up question. This is where you can demonstrate your understanding of the field and its direction. Choose a trend that you find genuinely interesting, and be prepared to articulate why it matters and its potential implications, especially for the company you're interviewing with.
So it's about connecting the dots between what's happening in the industry and how this company can leverage those trends for their own success.
Exactly. Now let's move on to another question that often comes up. How do you identify potential business opportunities? They're looking for a glimpse into your thought process here.
So it's less about, I have a good gut feeling, and more about showcasing a structured approach.
Right. Do you analyze market trends, look at competitor weaknesses, talk to potential customers? What's your process? Share it and be specific if you can. Tie it back to the company's current market position.
Okay, so paint a picture of your strategy. What would you say is a good follow-up question they might ask?
They might ask you to walk them through an example of how you identified and capitalized on a business opportunity in a previous role. Now's the time to tell a story and showcase your skills in action. Choose an example that demonstrates your analytical thinking, creativity, and how you deliver results.
Okay. Story time. Always a good way to make an impression. I bet RoleCatcher's AI can help you fine-tune your story for maximum impact, right?
You bet. Their AI can analyze your story and suggest ways to make it more concise, engaging, and relevant to the specific job you're interviewing for. It's like having a storytelling coach in your pocket.
I love it. Okay. Let's tackle another question that focuses on relationships. How do you build and maintain strong relationships with clients and partners? So, yeah, I feel like this is a bit of a soft skills question.
It is, but it's crucial in business development. Don't just say, I'm a people person. They want to hear concrete examples of how you communicate effectively, handle conflicts, and exceed expectations. Remember, stories are memorable.
So instead of a general statement, give them a specific example of a time you built a strong client relationship. What would be a good follow-up they might ask here?
They might dig a little deeper with, tell me about a time you had to repair a damaged client relationship. What did you learn from that experience? It's a chance to show them you can handle challenges, learn from mistakes, and build those bridges.
It's about showing resilience and that you're always learning and growing. Now, this next question from RoleCatcher is one everyone can relate to. How do you prioritize competing demands and manage your workload effectively? I think we all juggle a lot. What are they looking for here?
They want to know you have a system, a strategy for staying organized and on top of things. Do you use to-do lists, project management software, time blocking, whatever your method is? Be ready to explain it.
So it's less about claiming to be a superhuman multitasker and more about demonstrating that you have tools and techniques to manage your time efficiently. Well, what's a possible follow-up question here?
A classic one is, describe a situation where you had to juggle multiple projects with tight deadlines. How did you ensure everything was completed on time and to a high standard? Once read. This is where you can give a concrete example of your organizational skills and ability to handle pressure.
Again,
Yeah.
it's all about showcasing those skills in action, telling that story. Now, I know RoleCatcher's AI can help fine-tune these answers, but can you tell me more about how it works?
Their AI analyzes thousands of successful interview responses and extracts key insights. It then suggests ways to tailor your answers to match the specific company and role you're applying for. So you're not just giving generic answers. You're giving answers that resonate with that employer.
Wow, that's incredibly helpful. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already, but there are a few more questions RoleCatcher highlights that are worth discussing. Let's take a look at those.
Sounds good. Let's dive back in. All right, let's tackle another question that often trips people up. Can you describe a time when you had to persuade someone to buy into a new idea or strategy? This one's all about influence and communication.
Okay, so it's not just about having a great idea. It's about getting others on board. How do you approach this one?
Choose a story that highlights your listening skills, your ability to address concerns, and ultimately, your ability to get people on board with your vision. Remember, persuasion is about finding common ground and building consensus.
So it's about being persuasive but not pushy. What would be a good follow-up question they might ask here?
They might ask, what strategies do you use to build consensus and gain support for your ideas? This is your chance to showcase your collaborative leadership skills and your ability to inspire others to buy into your vision.
It's about bringing people along on the journey. Now let's talk about measuring success. RoleCatcher lists this question. How do you measure the success of your business development initiatives? This one sounds like it's all about data and metrics.
Absolutely. Show them you're data-driven and that you understand what moves the needle. Talk about the specific metrics and KPIs you use to track your progress and analyze the results. Think customer acquisition cost, lifetime value, conversion rates, those kinds of things.
So demonstrate that you're not just focused on activity, but on results and impact. What would you say is a good follow-up question they might ask here?
They might ask, can you give an example of a time you had to adjust your approach based on data analysis? It's about showing them you're adaptable and that you use data to inform your decisions, not just to report on them.
That makes sense. Now, before we move on to the next question, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about RoleCatcher's AI. How can it help me with these data-focused questions?
It's really powerful. Their AI can analyze industry benchmarks and trends, giving you specific data points and examples you can weave into your answers. It can also help you identify the metrics that are most important to the company you're interviewing with, ensuring your response is aligned with their priorities.
It's like having a personalized data analyst in your back pocket.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, next question. How do you approach competitive analysis and market research? I feel like this is where you can really showcase your research skills.
It is. Highlight the tools and resources you use. Do you leverage industry databases? Specific software? Do you have a network of experts you consult? Demonstrate that you can go beyond basic Google searches to gather and analyze valuable information.
So it's about showing them you have a structured approach, and you're not just skimming the surface. And what's a potential follow-up question here?
They might ask, what are some of the key challenges you've encountered in conducting competitive analysis, and how have you overcome them? It's about demonstrating your problem-solving skills and resilience.
It's about showing them you can handle those roadblocks. Now let's move on to the final question RoleCatcher highlights. This one sounds like it requires some serious negotiation skills. Can you describe a time when you had to navigate a complex negotiation or partnership agreement?
This is where you want to showcase your diplomacy strategy and your ability to find win-win solutions. Choose a story that demonstrates your ability to navigate complex situations and build consensus, even when there are competing interests.
So a good example might be a time you had to negotiate a tough deal with a client or partner, or maybe a time when you had to resolve a conflict between team members with different perspectives.
Exactly. Those are great examples. And a potential follow-up question might be, what are your key principles for successful negotiation? This is where you can articulate your negotiation philosophy and highlight your understanding of the key elements involved in achieving positive outcomes for everyone.
Okay. We've covered a lot of interview questions. That is intense. But I'm feeling much more confident about tackling these business developer interviews now. And RoleCatcher's AI tools and insights seem incredibly helpful.
They really are. They can make a huge difference in how you prepare and how you present yourself.
So beyond the interview questions, what are some other things candidates should keep in mind?
There are a few things that can really set you apart. First, enthusiasm is contagious. If you're genuinely excited about the opportunity, it will show. And interviewers love to see that.
I agree. Passion and energy go a long way. What else?
Preparation is key, of course. The more you practice and familiarize yourself with the company and the role, the more confident you'll feel. But don't be afraid to pause and collect your thoughts before answering a question. It shows you're taking the interview seriously and being thoughtful.
Good point. Take your time. There's no need to rush.
And remember the STAR method when answering those. Tell me about a time when questions. Set the scene, describe the task, outline your actions, and highlight the result. It helps you tell a clear and concise story that showcases your skills and experience.
It's a great framework for structuring those answers. What else is important?
Body language. It speaks volumes. Make eye contact, smile, sit up straight, and project confidence. And listen actively. It shows you're engaged and genuinely interested in what they have to say.
These are great reminders. Don't just focus on what you're saying. Pay attention to how you're saying it.
Exactly. And remember, an interview is a two-way street. You're not just being evaluated. You're evaluating them.
That's a good point. It's about finding the right fit for both sides.
Right. Ask thoughtful questions about the company, the team, the role. It shows you've done your research and you're genuinely interested in the opportunity.
It's also a chance for you to gather information, to see if this is the right environment for you to thrive.
And speaking of thriving, let's circle back to those career insights from RoleCatcher's Career Guide. It's important to have a realistic understanding of the pros and cons of this field.
Okay, let's talk about the good stuff first. What are some of the pros of a career in business development?
There's a lot to love. High earning potential, growth opportunities, working with a diverse range of clients, making a real impact on a company's bottom line. It can be incredibly rewarding.
Sounds exciting. But what about the other side of the coin? What are some of the challenges?
It can be high pressure with long hours and constant deadlines. You need to be comfortable with rejection. And you need to have excellent communication and interpersonal skills to navigate complex relationships and negotiations.
So it's not for everyone, but if you thrive in a fast-paced, challenging environment, it can be incredibly rewarding.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's Career Guide breaks down the different stages of a typical business development career path. From entry-level to senior leadership roles, understanding the skills and experience required at each stage can help you set realistic expectations and map out your career trajectory.
It's like having a roadmap for your career growth. Now, before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to the idea of authenticity in interviews. It's something that really resonates with me.
It's crucial. You don't want to come across as robotic or rehearsed. Let your personality shine through and be your genuine self.
I think that's what makes people memorable. And ultimately, that's what you want to be in an interview. Memorable for the right reasons.
Absolutely. Be yourself, be prepared, and be confident.
Great advice. Well, I think we've covered just about everything. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this deep dive?
Just one, remember that every interview is a learning experience. Even if you don't get the job, take the time to reflect on what went well and what you could improve for next time.
That's a great point. It's all about continuous improvement. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. From understanding the role of a business developer to tackling those tricky interview questions and even exploring the career path itself, thanks to those insights from RoleCatcher.
Yeah, and we've really emphasized the importance of preparation, enthusiasm, storytelling, and using RoleCatcher's AI to really fine-tune your approach.
But I think the most important takeaway is the power of authenticity. Don't try to be someone you're not. Let your personality shine through and be your genuine self.
I completely agree. Interviewers can spot a phony a mile away. They want to see the real you, your passion, your drive, your unique perspective.
Exactly. And that brings us to the final piece of advice we want to leave you with. Think about what makes you stand out from the crowd. What are your unique strengths and experiences? What would make you a valuable asset to this particular company?
This is where your preparation meets your personality. Take some time to reflect on your career journey, your accomplishments, the challenges you've overcome, and the lessons you've learned along the way.
And don't be afraid to share those stories. Those personal anecdotes can make all the difference. They help you connect with the interviewer on a human level and leave a lasting impression.
Remember, an interview is a conversation, not an interrogation. Be confident, be engaging, and, most importantly, be yourself.
And as you prepare for your business developer interview, don't forget to leverage those amazing resources that RoleCatcher provides. Their AI-powered tools can help you tailor your resume, optimize your answers, and practice your delivery, giving you that extra edge you need to succeed.
It's like having a personal career coach in your corner, guiding you every step of the way.
So go out there, nail that interview, and launch your business development career with confidence. We're rooting for you.